Hey everybody, welcome to the For Knit Sigs podcast. This is episode 15. My name is Allison and I am coming to you from El Paso, Texas, where I live with my husband Jonathan, my two boys Levi and Oliver, and our dog Lucy. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for stopping by, and if you are coming back, welcome, and so glad you're back to hear me ramble on about yarn and my life, and mostly about yarn. If you want to find me on the social medias, I'm on Ravelry as For Knit Sigs, which is all one word, and on Instagram as for_knit_sigs. So you can find me on either of those. You can message me, send me questions. I also have a Ravelry group with a few members that are a part of it. To either introduce yourself, you can find show notes for the episodes, project pages, and all the fun stuff that you can think of on Ravelry for the podcast. So thank you so much for stopping by. It is a slightly overcast day today in El Paso, and I am actually trying really hard to jump on the tea train with a lot of other people in the world. I don't know if I can do it, you guys. I picked up a new tea when I was at the grocery store today, and it smells like Big Red Gum or cinnamon Altoids. It's very strong cinnamon black tea with hints of orange and cloves. But I want to like it, but I also want it to be coffee because I like the taste of coffee. I'm not sure if I'm a tea drinker, you guys. I'm trying really hard. I don't think I'm going to do it. So I like it, but I want it to be coffee. Do I have any viewers out there that prefer coffee over tea? I'm going to finish it. I'm going to try it. I think I'm going to like it. I think I'll like it more if I drink it. It's also kind of cooled down a decent amount since I brewed it. So I also see a lot of sediment at the bottom of the cup. Is that normal? I'm not a tea person. I don't know. I'm going to try to drink it, but like I said, I want it to be coffee. So since it's not coffee, it doesn't quite taste the same. Oh well. Okay, so the writing prompt for this podcast episode is, you have magic soap. What does it wash away? And if I had magic soap that could wash away anything, including emotions, it would be anxiety. I have anxiety over a lot of things in life, over things that people would deem silly. Anxiety over like finding a parking spot if I have to go pick up Levi at school because there's only 10 of them or something like that. Or finding a parking spot if I'm going someplace new. Or finding out where I need to go if I'm going someplace new. So it'd be really great if I could just wash my hands and the anxiety just kind of like leaves. So the amount of knitting that I have done for the last 10 days or so since I last podcasted would probably show how much anxiety I have gone through. And it's not even like stuff I can control as usual. So, and as you can see, my wall has gotten some more yarn. I added my eyeball shawl yarns up here. And then this right here is going to be some socks eventually. And then some oldies that I still haven't taken off, like this and these and the alpaca yarns here. It's just not priority at the moment, unfortunately, so what can you do? So yeah, if I had magic soap, I would want it to wash away anxiety. We have a lot of clouds today in El Paso, so the lighting's probably going to change a decent amount, and we're supposed to get rain, and it was actually cool enough to open up all the windows this morning and wear a sweatshirt. It was wonderful. The AC actually didn't turn on until about 30 minutes ago, so that has been absolutely incredible. Now, let's jump into knitting because that is why you are here, right? I have no finished objects, but I do have a few half-finished objects, and they fell on the floor earlier today, so let me go down and reach them. There are 3 half socks. I want to say I showed one of them last time. No, I don't think so. So my first one I'm going to show is my mom's blueberry waffle socks, knit from a cotton acrylic yarn. It is sheep's yarn. I picked it up in The Hague, which is in the Netherlands. So this is a cotton acrylic blend, 7822. And I just did some blueberry waffle socks, some shorties. I haven't woven in the ends yet. She has a much smaller foot than I do, so these were quite small on the sock blocker. So I'm hoping that they'll fit. There's a little bit of stretch, but not a whole lot because, you know, cotton doesn't have that memory that wool does. So I'm hoping they'll be okay. They'll probably end up being more like house socks for my mother. So I just have to finish up the other sock. I'll show the whips. They're all being held in, all my socks are being held in this bag. Down one goes. In this bag here, so I can just grab all of the socks and go. And I have hers in my nomadic yarns. I haven't gotten very far. I've only done this much. I think I still need to do 2 more blueberry waffle repeats before I do a heel and then do the foot. So that's one half finished pair of socks. The next will be my dad's vanilla socks for Christmas. Now, and this isn't even quite a half finished object because I still have to put a heel in. And yes, I put in waste yarn to hold my stitches, do my waste yarn, and then do, not more waste yarn, a lifeline. I put in lifelines above and below where I put my heel in, so then I'm not spending a whole lot of time picking up stitches. So I've done all of this. He is a 68 stitch sock wearer person. I used 68 stitches to knit his sock, and I did 15 rows 2x2 rib, I think 60 rows here, and then I think I did 65, maybe 70 rows here before I did the toe, and then I did a contrasting toe in just a navy blue, and then I'll do the heel in that same navy blue. His sock, I think, only has the cuff and a few rows here. I have decided to hold off on finishing my socks until October because it's going to be Socktober, so I'm going to try to finish up other projects for the rest of the month of September and then finish all the socks in October, and I might cast on some more socks because I made another Knit Picks order. Don't tell my husband. We're really not like that. It's just one of those things. I just made a Knit Picks order and then I made another one. Felici was on sale. Give me a break. So, third half finished object is Levi's tube sock made from Felici in Punch Bug. I did 20 rows of 2x2 rib up here to hopefully hold it up a little bit better. Then I knit. I don't remember. I think it's 20, 40, 60. I think it was like 76 rows or something. I did one little teeny tiny row of the orange before I did it's not really a contrasting toe. He really wanted the purple toe, so I wasn't going to argue with him as long as he wears them. This is Knit Picks Stroll in Vibrant Violet, I think. Yes, Vibrant Violet. So, and I happened to finish the sock here to where his socks are going to match. And I've never ever done that before. So this is his second sock. I know I'm not giving a lot of details on how I'm knitting all these, but there is a project page for every single one of them on Ravelry. They're gonna pretty much match. It looks like they might be like one row off, because as you can see, it looks like the light blue might have a couple more stockinette rows than this one does. But it's gonna be pretty darn close, and I've never done that before. So again, I'm going to hold off on all socks until October so I can finish it for Socktober. And then, so those are all my knitting finished objects. Even though they're all only half finished objects, I consider a sock, you know, part of the finished object family. But I'm going to do a sewing finished object, and I actually have two. One I'm going to have to do a disclaimer in case my fiber share partner watches my podcast, because I'm going to show all that off in just a moment. I did a sewing project. I have all of this fabric that was in our first rental house in Germany. The family before us had used it for curtains, so I have about 4 gigantic panels of this gray floral fabric with a little bit of purple. There's like teeny amounts of purple. Where is it? Is that, yeah, there's a little bit here. this particular cut of the fabric doesn't have a lot. And I had gone to Joann and I picked up some fabric from the remnant bins, and I found this bright yellow cotton, kind of like a canvasy material, and I made a project bag. I am enjoying project bags that have snaps because then my yarn isn't getting caught in zippers. And I didn't really follow a particular pattern. I found a tutorial to make a tea bag, I think from HGTV on Google. And I followed those directions because a bag I had made previously, I didn't piece together right. You could see on the other bag this seam because I didn't know to flip the inner fabric and stuff it inside the outer fabric to sew all the way around, minus the part where you turn the bag out. And one little nice thing that was an accident, I meant to put this here, but I forgot to pin it into the outside part before I sewed all the way around. But I actually kind of like this better because when I snap it, now it's a fairly large bag. I think it ended up being like 14 inches by 15 inches, even after I boxed out the corners. Because I love a bag that can sit on its own. And because you can't see the seams, you can fold it to make it look like a yarn bowl. But when I hold it, it's wide enough that I can put it all the way up to my elbow, and I can still knit from it, and I can hold multiple projects in it. One of my whips is in here, and I'll get to that in a second. But I wanted to show my finished object part first, and then I can show you how you can fold it over. There goes my light. So then it's an on-the-go yarn bowl. I think I'll probably make some more in some different sizes. I'm also going to use a lot of this fabric probably to make placemats for the table because the boys don't know how to eat cereal in the morning without getting drips of milk everywhere. So I think I'm going to make a couple double-sided ones. I'm looking at it, and the stack with all of it folded together is like this thick. So I have a lot of this fabric to go through, but it makes a really good project bag because it's a stiffer fabric. I don't like using lining because it's kind of a pain in the butt to do that extra step of either sewing it or ironing it. And I like fast and easy projects. So you can see how big it is by just holding it. We'll use that as my screenshot. But I'll have another one of these to show in a second. So I guess we'll just go straight into whips, I guess. Now this is a new cast on from last time I spoke to you. Sorry, I should have turned off my notifications because they're showing up while I'm videotaping right now. I started the Bri-ouch bandana cowl in fingering weight for my husband. This is one that I had started and this one is the color that I originally chose, but the contrasting color was supposed to be like a glittery Selena green. But we decided he decided it was a little too much bling for him and he wanted more tonal color. And I told him that the navy blue would probably look a little bit better than the hunter green, just because I feel like the blue is a little bit more prominent in the skein. And I also kind of thought it looked a little bit Christmassy. And he thinks I'm so weird that anytime that like red and green are put together, I automatically assume Christmas. But I don't think I'm the only one in life that does that. Raise your hand if you do that as well. So I wanted him to pick a navy blue tonal, and this one is very, very dark. So navy blue, there's a little bit of hunter green in there, like you can kind of see it like right there. But it's very dark and kind of almost black though too. But it being knit up, I kind of flashed it a little bit. Looks really good, and I'm very excited about this. I've done about I'm on 37 rows, and you're supposed to do 44 before you start doing the backs and forths. I might do it a little bit wider just because I like a really tall cowl. I'll have to see what John thinks when I get to that point. But this is the right side, but we all know Bri-ouch can be double-sided. And I figured out, it took me a really long time to think of how do you know which color is going to be the forefront when you knit brioche. Whatever you are barking when you brioche is going to be your forefront color. Whatever you are burping is going to be the background color. If you needed some help, and sometimes you need something like that to think about which color is going to be in the forefront. Now the back side I feel is just as pretty, or just as nice. So I think you'll get a lot of wear out of it either way. I guess it just depends on how, not bright, but I guess colorful he wants to be versus just kind of the navy blue. And I'm actually going to use whatever navy blue is left over, and I'm going to make myself one out of a very bright and colorful skein of yarn that I have in my stash. So this is the Brioche Bandana Cowl by Lavanya Patricella. She sells it in a bunch of different weights. If you're good at math, you can probably just buy one of the patterns and then just adjust the stitch counts. Just my opinion. I really appreciate it when people like, you know, Stephen West brings out a pattern and multiple sizes are within the same pattern instead of having to buy a new one. But I might be in the minority for that. But this is still a good pattern. It's very well written. I haven't gotten to the part where I have to knit back and forth, but I know how to do flat brioche fairly well. I've done a few projects where it was just kind of bits and pieces. So let me get some of my other bags that have fallen down. Another thing that I've done, this is just I do this when I want something chunky and super easy, and I have finished one. I guess this could have gone in finished objects, but my plan was to make two. And I made a wool, this is going to end up being a wool trivet. I'm going to felt it because it's 100% virgin wool. And a self-striping yarn. This is from something Rico. Oh, I balled them both up. I don't have the bands anymore. It's on my, it's in my stash. I do not have a project page for this, but I just used Granny's favorite dishcloth pattern. And I figured this is going to shrink significantly when I felt it. But I think it's going to felt really, really pretty. This is where I joined a ball of yarn with the striping and everything. So I think I'm just going to toss it in the wash when I wash a bunch of towels to felt it. So that's one, and then I have one more that I would like to do. Knitting them on size 10 straight needles. I think this is Boy. Yeah, Boy. These I got from my grandmother before she passed away. She gave me a whole bunch of her needles, and she had a very sizable collection of metal straights and metal double points. But the double points only came in sets of 4. And it was only a couple random sizes, like 3, 5, 8s. And I think there's like one random plastic pair. So that hopefully will be done. Like I said, it's whenever I want something that's like quick and easy. And then another thing that's quick and easy are the chemo caps. I didn't do another finished object. What is wrong with me today, you guys? So I'm doing chemo caps for the Knitting Guild here in El Paso, and they are collecting them on October 10th. We're having a get together with snacks and food, and we're just donating hats. And when you donate chemo caps, you need to make them out of non-wool fibers because there's not hair in between the hat and the head of the person wearing it. It could be very itchy, it could be very scratchy and very uncomfortable to wear. So all the caps I've made so far are 100% cotton, and I finished this one from last time. It looks really short, but the cotton stretches, and it would probably go to maybe a kid. I probably should have knit a little bit more before I started doing the decreases. This is just some 100% cotton yarn that one of the members brought to a meeting and said that we could use to make hats. I already did a yellow barley hat by Tin Can Knits. And then I just used the stitch counts to make this one. And the one that I am working on now, which is my work in progress hat. Same yarn, but the difference was I did size 8 needles for the ribbing and I switched to size 10s. Yes, size 10s to do the body of the hat. And I'm actually going to knit this much longer than the others because I have small amounts left from the other 2 hats, and I'm going to do these for the crown. And then whatever's left, I'm going to toss in a Project Linus scrappy blanket that I'm just crocheting from random leftovers of yarns that the fibers don't necessarily match. So same stitch count, just larger needle sizes. So if I compare, the ribbing should be the same because I did a size 8 for both. Let's see if I can match these up. But the cream colored hat should fit a little bit bigger. There was a knot in it, so I had to cut it and rejoin, unfortunately. But I have a sizable ball left. I might actually be able to get the whole hat in this color. Just depends on how far I want to knit up. So I'm hoping this will be hat number 3. I'm gonna donate the Janice hat that I did a couple months ago in that bright coral color, and then hopefully have another hat or two to donate by the 10th, because that gives me about 2 weeks from today in order to donate those. I don't think I can do it, you guys. It does smell really good. It smells like cinnamon Altoids and big red gum. I just don't think I can do it. Okay, I have one more whip. I technically have 2, but the tote bag that I've been working on has been sitting for, I think, a month now, and I just haven't picked it up. So maybe next month, sometime soon. I am going to show you my exploration station that is used from all the recycled yarn from a thrift store sweater. One thing I do not like about this pattern is the amount of ends that you have to weave in. And I know Stephen West just says, you know, braid them and tack them in. And I'm actually kind of thinking about it just because looking at it right now at all of the ends that are on this thing, like I'll just show you. There's this whole group, this group here, all of this right here. And I don't know anybody that enjoys weaving in ends. It's not therapeutic to me. It just takes a really long time. So I finished the brioche section, so all of the wedges are done. The brioche wedge is done. Well, I guess it's not a wedge section. And then I've started on the slip stitch section. I had it on a really long cord, but I had to join 2 cords together. Chiaogu sells, or it comes with your needles that you can join 2 cords to make a longer one instead of just buying a, say, 50-inch cord to make a 60-inch set of needles. But it kept catching on that join. Not that it was like a bad join, it's just the cord and then the join where you put them together is thicker. So it just kept catching on that. So I took off the extra 22-inch cord that I had it on. And now it's just on a 40-inch total between the needles and the cord, so it does not stretch, and it's already very, very long. So that's the beginning. And then you can see the brioche. I made one fairly large mistake, and that happened, I think, when I knit it the first time. This one isn't quite in a very noticeable spot. It's on the edge, so it probably would be nice and safe and hidden for whenever I wear it. And now that I'm looking for it, I can't find it. Oh, there it is. And it's when one of the stitches slipped off my needle when I went to go either bark it, I think bark or burp it, bark it. And I lost this whole section here. And I don't know how to fix brioche, and I didn't want to tank back, so I left it. You can't really notice from far away. Plus, I feel like this cotton fabric or cotton thread that I pulled, I think when I showed it, when I dyed it, it has all these plies. So it's like 2 plies that are plied together. And when you untwist cotton, I heard this on either a podcast or something else, that it's bad to rip out cotton because it untwists and it doesn't twist back. So when you rip out cotton, which is exactly what happened, and I kind of knew it was going to happen, that your plies just become all untwisted. So I also have a couple split stitches in the brioche section and probably throughout the shawl too. I am a little worried that it's not going to hold up to wear and tear, so I'm going to have to be very gentle with this, but cotton is also slightly harder to break. Whenever I've had to break colors to start the new color, it's been a little bit more difficult to rip apart than it has like wool blends and stuff for other things. So we'll just kind of have to see how it goes. I don't know. I don't want to do all this work and then it fall apart on me, right? Okay, never fails. There's always at least one kiddo that needs me whenever I podcast. I'm not podcasting at a normal time because of life and stuff. So, I really like the Bri-ouch the way it is. And this is the project where I figured out the barking is the colors that pop forward, and the burping is the colors that, or is the color that's in the background. And then now I'm on the slip stitch pattern, which uses the green and the natural color. I don't think that's going to be my favorite part, but a year ago I had the same exact shawl on the needles with my hedgehog fibers. Oh, I should have grabbed it. But my husband likes these colors better. The other one had orange, purple, dark blue, not dark blue, but like a cobalt blue, and the off-white color typewriter. Is a very expensive shawl. I probably won't be buying hedgehog fibers again just because it's so spendy. Maybe for a treat. But I really like how this is going. So I have the slip stitch section here, and then the knit section next, and then the chevron section after that. But I think I'm going to only knit 1 or 2 repeats of the chevron. I don't think I want a huge shawl. Like, this is already very large, and I know that it's really big in general, and I went down a needle size for this yarn because I was worried I was going to run out, because cotton weighs more than wool, and I didn't want to run out. And I only had 100 grams of all of the colors except for the natural, which is the color that's used the least amount in the shawl anyways. But I think I'm actually going to be fine. Like, I still have all of this left, and this is the last section that uses this color. And there's a lot of all the other colors because obviously I haven't made it to the biggest sections yet, the last 2. So those are going to use the most amount of yarn because they have a ridiculous amount of stitches. I think it's like 455 total by the time you're done. But I love Exploration Station. It's such a fun pattern. And the second time is a lot more intuitive. I'm not making as many like guesses, I guess, to do it. But between this Bri-ouch and the Bri-ouch for the bandana cowl, my wrist has been hurting. And I made a terrible pun of it's Bri-ouch because it's been hurting my wrist. I don't know what it is about the motion, but I've been having some pain in this hand, which I would think it's probably from the purling, which I haven't really had before, but I think the motion that I do, because I use my finger to push the yarn down to get it so I can pull the yarn through the stitch. If I'm ever active enough and somebody can tape me while I'm purling, then that would be it. I've looked into doing other things like Norwegian purling or any other ones that doesn't require you to do as many finger motions, but I don't think I'm ready for that yet. I will just purl my way, which has gotten slightly better over the years, and go from there. So that, I think, are all my works in progress that I can show you. That break also let me go get some adult juice, which is significantly better than tea. And it's Taco Tuesday night, and Taco Tuesday night means drinks. Okay. So yeah, I think that's all I've done. I haven't done any of my Project Linus blankets, and we're meeting next Saturday. I think I'm only going to commit to doing one this month because I'm missing panels for the second blanket because they didn't have the holes cut into it. It's just like a rotary cutter that has, the way it's cut, it just nicks the holes all the way around. So it hasn't done that yet, or they weren't done, so I'm missing 2 panels to a set that I picked up. But the one I am going to do will be this one with little turtles. Turtle, turtle, turtle. Any Dana Carvey fans? I know he's kind of old school, but, and I like this bright lime green, and then there'll be 2 navy blue panels, and I'm just going to do it in navy blue all the way around. And the holes that I'm talking about are these. It's just a rotary cutter that you go through all the different sides. So cute. I enjoy doing that, and I'm enjoying that I can get some donation stuff done. But those blankets take me only a couple days, so I'm just going to commit to doing the one right now. Okay, now, if you are my fiber share partner, look away. Do not stare at the screen until I tell you to do so, unless you want it to be spoiled of what I'm giving you. I wanted to show you guys everything that I pieced together to get for my fiber share partner, because I mean, it's yarn related, it's knitting, it's project bags and all the good stuff. So I decided some of it is pulled from my stash and some of it is new things that I bought or things that I have made. So fair warning, look away right now. I'm just gonna show, I'm not gonna say much. This one was from my stash and I had to part with it. This was something new I bought from a local artist, Quillen Fiber Arts from Las Cruces. She owns the yarn shop that's up there. Isn't it pretty? It doesn't quite go with this one, but it might, could. I don't know, it depends on how crazy she is. I did decide to gift this. I had previously gotten from another podcaster. Thank you, Caitlin. And my fiber share partner said or sent a picture of a scrappy project that she was thinking about doing. So I picked up a bunch of my scraps and I did anywhere from like 5 grams to 5 to 12. I think this one's 12 grams. So a bunch of little scraps, scrappy balls that she can put in a scrappy project. And then I raided my husband's tea stash. So she is getting all of this. I will find a better way to package it, I promise it. So some teas from things. I'm just not a tea drinker, and John kind of drinks what he likes. So this is just a little bit of everything that we've had, that we have in the tea cabinet. It's like a box with like, think of like a jewelry box, but for tea. And then I had this little project bag that I had made, but I am not using. It's a recycle bag, and it has a little strap here. It's enough to hold like a 50 gram ball of yarn. So I am putting all the tea in there for right now. And put all those back in, and all the scraps can fit in there too. My sewing is not perfect, but it is perfectly functional. Functionable is not a word. So she's gonna get that. And then she said she wanted these. I do not watch this show. My husband has read the books. These are from The Sexy Knitter. I'm facing them the wrong way. So these little bracelets. She also does ones for Star Trek, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Doctor Who, a whole bunch of them. My only complaint about these is the joins. They're stitch markers, not progress keepers. Do you see? They're not perfect joins. So I actually had one fly off the bracelet earlier, but those are for her. Put it in the little pouch that came from her. But I like the idea that it's on a bracelet and like doubles as jewelry. And then I made her own. Hers has this on the inside, so the inside fabric is a little different, and the strap is from the outside fabric instead. And then I boxed the bottoms just like I did on my bag, a little bit more nicely, just because this one was my second go. So I just need to pack it all up and send it. I hope she likes it. I hope she just didn't watch and spoil all of this. I'll put a little disclaimer, so maybe she won't spoil it. So the other bag was a finished object as well, because I made this one for her. And hers doesn't stand up quite as well as mine, just because the inside fabric isn't as thick as the other, but she can still fold it over. I'm just going to wrap it all up in some tissue paper so it's all gift wrapped and ready to go, and then ship it off tomorrow. I think it's a pretty good FiberShare package. I'm a little stressed about it, a little anxiety, just because FiberShare on Instagram shares all these really fantastic, way over the minimum amount of yarn sent. The minimum amount is supposed to be 200 grams of yarn, which would be, you know, usually 2 skeins. FiberShare sharing these packages that have like 5 or 6 balls of yarn plus all these extra things. I am also going to toss in a little tin of hard candy as well. So I hope she really likes it. And I think I'm going to make some more of these bags just because they're fun, but different sizes. I might make like a small sock size one just so it can go on my wrists and I can knit. And like I said, I like the snaps because then I'm not having to worry about my yarn getting caught up in zippers. So, hooray, FiberShare swap. I'm silly, right? Okay, so that is all for finished objects, works in progress, what I'm doing for my FiberShare partner, all that fun stuff. So what I wanted to share now was I have decided I'm going to knit another faded sweater. Pause for dramatic effect. Not really. And I think I showed all this yarn before. I bagged up all my yarn because we were having not like bug issues, but you know, you find like a random spider in your house, or there was like a caterpillar downstairs at some point. And I was going through my stash, what was it, a month or 2 ago, and a little spider kind of crawled out. Spiders are not a big deal here, but there are a decent amount of them around the area. But I bagged up all of my yarn in either gallon size bags, or I think I fit all of my fingering weight yarn in like this giant, they're like 2.5 gallon size bags, and I went and bought a bunch more of these. Cause oh yeah, I made another Knit Picks order, which I've already said. It's gonna ship soon. But lychee was on sale, you guys. Give me a break. So I have all this. I'm gonna rip out this hat and probably make some socks out of it. So this is all the yarn that's kind of like commercial sock yarn. So I've got some straw in there. There's that green Stellina. This is some opal. I think it's called like Romance or something. Sport weight. But I've already made a pair of socks, but I think I'm gonna make some tube socks for Oliver, which I'm also gonna make some tube socks out of this one for him. They better wear them. I keep making these socks and nobody wears them. John requested no more socks because he doesn't wear them. Because he has to wear specific socks for work. He can't wear different socks. Like, they have to be government issued, the right color, no ifs, ands, or buts. Just kidding. Like, no insignia or logos or anything on them. So, but I am going to knit a sweater using these 3 yarns. This is Dream in Color Smooshy. This is that coral that you just saw in the last bag. This was overdyed using some reds, and I think I tossed some purple in there. And then this bottom is, of course I can't read it, and it's on the bottom. But I got this from a D-stash from a friend she was getting rid of, and it matches, this matches perfectly with this right here. So I think this is gonna fade very well. I just can't fully decide between a pavement sweater or another flax light. I keep going back and forth, and I've decided I'm gonna make a pavement. I'm gonna make it. And then I think a little bit longer, I'm like, no, I should just do a flax light. Now, I don't think I also have enough to do a full-length sweater with full-length sleeves unless I add another color to the bottom, which, because I did the first fade knit along for Christy Glass Knits channel, I got those 2 yarns and the burgundy that they sent me, which I'm pulling out, sorry for all the crinkles, but my stash is safe from bugs. This could go on the bottom. So if I really want to, I could do that, because I don't have any plans for this yet. I don't know what to do with it. I don't want to do socks because it's off-white, and I don't want to wear socks because it's going to get dirty, I mean, regardless of what I wear, it's going to be dirty, but I don't want to purposely put something on my feet because I don't mop the floor every single day and we have tile and these would get dirty super duper fast. So this needs to be some sort of hat, cowl, shawl, and I know that this is supposed to be paired with it, but maybe there's a little bit of green in there. Maybe I could use the Stellina that I just had out to use this, but I think that's what I'm gonna do if it's looking like I'm running out. I want this to be the whole top part of the sweater until I separate for the sleeves and leave just enough that I can fade into this one. So I figured I can get to maybe like the middle of my bust, maybe below my bust, before I have to start fading for this one. I'm hoping. But I just can't decide between a pavement or a flax light. The pavement's really cool construction from what I hear. Julia from the Happy Knitting podcast just made a faded version of it and looks beautiful. And Celeste of Yarn to Table podcast she has just swatched for one, but she hasn't done it yet. So I also don't need a sweater anytime soon, so I don't know when or if this is, well, it's going to happen. I just don't know when it's going to happen. So flax light or pavement. If I do the flax light, I'm going to do a larger stitch count for the collar, so it is a wider neck, because like even today this neck is driving me bananas. But I feel like the pavement, especially seeing on Julie, like hers goes to like her shoulders where you would need to wear like a tank underneath. Well, you don't have to. I don't care about bra strap showing. If you want it to show, show. Kind of like last week how I said like there shouldn't be any rules. But this is going to be a sweater. If I need this, I'm going to pop this in there just because I have no plans for it. And it goes with the burgundy that's here. It'll fade very nicely. Done, right? So I have that. And then, oh, while I have this out, I can show you the yarn that I was going to do my Bri-ouch bandana cowl out of. Right. This is Lahala. Lahala. I got it on sale for $20. It's called Neon Rainbow. Why wouldn't it be called anything else? So, I was going to do this with the navy blue because it is a 100% superwash merino. So there's no nylon, so I can't do socks with this. If I did do socks, they would wear out very quickly. So this is going to be a Bri-ouch bandana cowl for myself with the navy blue. Inverness, I think, is the colorway. I am all over the place. Thank you so much for watching. If you are a subscriber and you frequently come back to watch me, because I know I'm a mess. So, that is in the works too. And then I have all the socks. The eyeball shawl is going on the needles as soon as the exploration station is done. So I need to concentrate on finishing that. I don't need to finish some of the other projects until closer to November. Like I said, socks for Socktober. And then, you know, other stuff. This is the big bag of like skeined yarn. And there's more coming, you guys. I will show that the next time because that should hopefully show up by early next week from Knit Picks. Because Felici was on sale, Sock Architecture, all the books were 40% off. So I bought Sock Architecture. Why is that word so difficult? I bought that because it was only like less than $17 after they're 40% off, and that's the cheapest I've seen it, and I've been wanting it for well over a year. So I got that. I got a couple balls of Felici. I got a on sale skein of Stroll hand painted, and then I got 2 solids for Stroll that I think will match the Felici. Knit Picks, if you ever watch this, wouldn't it be genius, you guys, whenever they come out with Felici, is they paired it with their tonal Stroll or their solid Strolls? Why don't they do that? Sell it in kits. What? Indie dyers do it. Knit Picks should do it too. So I think that would be genius because I was guessing like what colors would match the stripes. Why don't they do that? Wouldn't it be genius to do that? It'd be so much easier, and then, you know, I don't have to like have multiple windows open and then like click on the colorway and then click and like put the 2 windows together. And then usually like this pink that I bought right here, This is called Shell something. Seashell Tonal looked much lighter. Like it wasn't paler, but it wasn't as like a dusty pink as it was when it showed up. It's perfectly fine. I will still use it. But the Knit Picks photography is a little off when it comes to like the tonals and stuff. Only on some colorways, not everything. Because then you go into Ravelry and you go into people's stashes, and this doesn't look the same as what's on the website. Just FYI. Okay, I've rambled quite a lot. So if you were just here for the knitting and the sewing and all the other stuff, thank you so much for coming. I really do appreciate the time that you have spent with me this week and every week if you tend to come back and watch me ramble for a very long time. Like and subscribe if you liked what you saw, and please join the Ravelry group if you choose to do so. If you would like to hear a little bit about what's going on in our life, please feel free to stick around. There's not a whole lot to talk about. We're not super interesting. I was considering doing Vlogtober, but do you guys really want to see photos or pictures and videos of me just playing with my kids and sitting and knitting and making dinner and baking? Because that's kind of all I do, and like drive kids around and stuff. We do fun things, I promise. It's just, I don't know if I do enough to do Vlogtober. We'll see. I don't know. So yes, thank you for coming. If you want to sit and chat about what's going on in life, feel free to hang out. We have parts of our house fixed from the water damage that we have. We still have no carpet in part of the closet. The vendor keeps pushing back the time that he's going to come and fix it, which is a little bit frustrating. A lot of bit frustrating, because then I sit around and hang out, and then he calls and or texts and says, well, I have these emergency repairs that I have to do on this side of town. I can't come till tomorrow. Okay, fine. Or the first time it was like they ordered the wrong colored carpet, so I have to wait until Monday. Then it was, I was in class all day, I can't come till tomorrow. There was an emergency for me to fix windows on the east side of town. I can't come. So he's supposed to come tomorrow. I hope he comes tomorrow. I mean, like, it was nice to have a usable closet, but after we had water damage, I don't know if we're going to keep anything in that closet, which feels crazy because then we have all this wasted space that we're not going to use. I guess we could maybe like put some shelves. We could hang things up. Like it's really small. Like it's only maybe like this wide. Sorry, that's not in camera. It's not big. It's like maybe like I can fit myself in there, but there's not a lot of side room. So we could hang things up because there is a bar and a shelf that we could put things up there, but I don't think we're going to put anything on the floor anymore. So there's that. And then we went and hung out with some friends, our neighbors that are a couple doors down last weekend. And this Texas sun is no joke, you guys. I was a bad parent and I didn't stop the kids to put sunscreen on because I didn't think they were going to play as long as they did. And I was sitting inside the garage, and I can show you, I got burned, and I was sitting inside the garage. And then you can kind of see I'm peeling a little bit, like right here, I've just noticed. I was sitting inside the garage, and I got burned there and like all here. And poor Levi, he got his first bad sunburn. We made it to 6.5. I would call that a win. And it wasn't terrible. It wasn't bothering him except for like the back part of his neck. And he got a little teeny tiny blister on top of his ear like 2 days after he got the sunburn. So I felt terrible about it. And like we ran to Walgreens and got emergency aloe. So now we have aloe in the house. And now Levi, anytime he wants to go outside, he's like, Mom, do I need to put on sunscreen? I think I'm going to do the most editing on this video that I've done for all the other ones. I pride myself on not doing a lot of editing because I don't really have the time for it. I do enjoy doing the podcast and I enjoy the viewers that I have. I just don't do a lot of editing. I don't have fancy equipment. I tried to figure out how to use my our DSLR camera as a recording apparatus, but it doesn't autofocus. And I've Googled and it's just one of those cameras that just doesn't autofocus. So I'm using my phone. I probably should invest in like a little microphone to use with it. So, and I also starting last episode, I'm uploading in HD just so it's slightly better quality. Hopefully, like, those little differences will help out. What was I talking about? Sun City. It is sunny a majority of the year. And I never thought I would get sick of the sun until we moved here. It's tough when you move from a place that's not dark and dreary, but that is, it rains a lot more often. The climate's a lot different. Granted, there's no humidity here, so even though it was low 80s today, which felt wonderful after like the 99-degree heat we had for the last 3 months since June, July, August, 4 months, because it's almost the end of September. The sun gets sickening, and I'm one of those people that I really enjoy rainy weather and thunderstorms. Like the weather in Germany, when people were complaining in February about like how dark it was and how they didn't like the rain, I was enjoying it. Like I got to bundle up in all my hand knits and my blankets. And granted, we probably watched a little bit more TV just because we didn't spend as much time outside in that kind of weather. Here, it's miserable when it's hot. I don't like sweating being inside my house, even when the AC is running. Does anybody, I'm sure other people have that issue if you live in the desert or anywhere where it's really hot. Great news for our family. My husband got promoted, and as of October 3rd, he will be a staff sergeant in the Army. It's a very long overdue promotion for him. He had a shoulder injury, he has a back condition, and if you are in kind of the lower ranks, it's almost impossible to get promoted if you can't take a full physical fitness test. And he hasn't been able to do that for 2 years now. And so he took the test, he got those 74 extra points, and he got picked up this month. So October 3rd, he will be promoted. I might do a little picture, Insta story or something that day just because I'm so super duper proud of him. He's worked really hard to get where he is today, and he just really deserves it. And he needed that win after we had such a rough year last year between his shoulder surgery, Oliver getting sick, and everything else. It's just been long overdue, and we're super duper excited about it. So hooray! Other than that, I don't think there's much else going on. We just get through the rest of the week. We did our grocery shopping today. It's Taco Tuesday, and I'm excited because I've already made the chicken part. If you don't have an Instant Pot, definitely invest in one. That are totally worth it. It's great to be able to just cook things super duper fast. It's faster than a crock pot, so I don't have to sit and wait all day for it. It cooks in like 20 minutes instead of hours. I don't have to heat up the entire house. It's great for the summer. It's fantastic. So, okay. I think I rambled on enough. This is going to be a fairly long episode because I was a little chatty about my projects and my sewing and all that other stuff. So, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm going to sign off for now, and hopefully I'll see you guys in about a week or two with some more finished objects, hopefully. No socks, not until October, but hopefully this shawl will be done. Maybe some hats. That was Lucy. Hey Lucy, you want to come say hi? I'll put a little picture of her. She sleeps in a little mattress pad that we had out for her. So that was her. Sorry about that. But okay, I'm gonna say bye now. Thanks you guys for coming. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.